I really prepared for that audition. I probably prepared for that more than I normally would. I knew that Tom was going to be there, and I knew that there would be kind of around about 12 to 15 people from LA in the room, and it was going to be scary. I walked into the Athenaeum, and I didn't have to wait at all. I went straight in, and there was just this door, and I knew that Tom was going to be on the other side of it, and it was scary. But so the door opened, and there he was, and he said, "It's great to meet you, Mark." And I said, do you know what, Tom? I said, "I've walked straight in here off the street. I've not had to wait." I said, "This is exactly how I like it." And he said, "Well, this is how we like to do it for you, Mark." And I said, "Great, that's how I love it." And for some reason they all laughed at that, and I thought, this is good. It's going well so far. And he sat me down, and he said, "This is the guy who's going to read with you." And he said, "Look, in your own time, in this very surreal situation, start when you're ready." And I remember that what I did was I looked up at the ceiling for about 45 seconds, which is kind of what I do in the opening of the episode, when I'm like looking up into the sky. And I did that, and then I looked down to the actor who I was going to do the scene with, and I opened my mouth and I said the first line, and as soon as I said the first line, I knew I was going to nail it. And it's just weird like that. Sometimes you say it and it all goes wrong, and other times you just know that it's going to work. And I just kind of knew it was going to work. And I did the scene, and I remember right at the very end, the tear came down my eye, and there was a big silence, and I think it was probably the best audition I'd ever done. And Tom said, "That was absolutely fantastic." And I said to him, "I guess that's what all the nerves were for." And I walked out onto the street, onto Piccadilly, and I just sobbed for 10 minutes. I mean, I never do. I mean, I go for auditions all the time. I've been acting for a long time, and I've never done that before or since. And I phoned my mum up, and I sobbed for 10 minutes, because I think I was so wound up. I was so psyched up for it. And on this occasion, it worked out. On that day, it was my day, so I was lucky. And I think 2 days later, I got the phone call, and they said that they're offering it to you. I think they said that the only other part that they've cast is Damian Lewis, and I think they said you're the second one, and that was it.